Robin Washington.
Hey, Fred, I just wanted to recap the week, obviously with Tuesday's cancellation. I know that was something you guys were prepared for and almost expecting this season. I guess what was kind of the plan after that got postponed, and just what has this week entailed for you guys? And I guess what impact did that postponement have?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, Robin, is, the most important thing right now with everything going on is the health and safety of our student athletes. And, I talked to Matt Painter, I talked to the officials at the Big Ten, and we felt the best approach was to reschedule our game. And, I give Matt a lot of credit for, absolutely 100% being on board with it. And when you have something like with what happened with our team this last week, the right approach in our minds was the cautious one, to make sure that we had everybody healthy, which everyone has tested negative since that time. We will have one of our players that will be out tomorrow, and other than that, we are ready to go. So, I had to take a couple days off just to make sure that everyone was negative, which everybody was. Got back in the practice court yesterday. Had another workout today. We'll have a shoot around tomorrow, getting ready for our game against Indiana at 5 o'clock.
And then a quick follow-up. Have there been any conversations about when that game might be made up against Purdue?
Not yet. They're exploring a lot of different options and talking to the schedulers and the people in the Big Ten office. We will find a date that works best. Right now the bye weeks are off for Purdue and for our, really being in the last week of the season. So, may have to shuffle a couple things around, a couple dates, but, we'll get something on the schedule here soon. You're on mute, Seamus.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, my question's, I guess, a little bit about just what you did in terms of this week to prepare for Indiana, and maybe what a team like that brings out of a team like yours. I felt like the last time you guys were on the court, Michigan State brought a little bit of extra juice. Maybe that's because they're Michigan State. Maybe that's because of who they are. And your team responded positively in a lot of ways. Is Indiana, because of the name, because of the jersey, they do a lot of the same thing, and they bring something out of a team?
Well, I'll speak about the Michigan State game. I really was pleased going back and watching how we responded to the run that they had in the second half. Now, our big challenge moving forward is finding a way not to give up those runs. It's been a theme starting the second half, not getting off to a good start, or we'll get off to a good start and then have a lull, shortly thereafter from the first media to the second media timeout in the second half. That's what we have to find a way to eliminate if we're going to find a way to win these games. We still found a way to get back into it, played one of our best stretches of the season to cut that thing all the way back to 4 against Michigan State. We find a way to get the rebound. We missed a huge block out with about 45 or 50 seconds left that could have given us a chance to cut it to 2 or 3. Instead, they get the offensive rebound, put back with Langford. Now all of a sudden it's 7 with under a minute to go. So I really was pleased with the effort that we had for the most part, but it was about a 35-minute effort. And against teams like that, against teams like Indiana, against any team in our league, you have to play for 40 minutes. And you see the teams that are doing that are finding a way at the end of the game to be on top. Indiana's coming off a great performance. I thought they played phenomenal basketball and lost in double overtime, obviously against one of the top teams in the country at Wisconsin on the road. So it's going to be a big challenge. And, coming in, it's a physical team that gets a lot accomplished in the paint and at the free throw line. So we have to do a good job with their physicality. We have to do much better than we did against Ohio State, which they'll run a lot of same type of actions trying to get the ball inside to Trace Jackson Davis, who's one of the best big men in the country.
Hey, Simple.
Hey, Fred, you mentioned Trace Jackson Davis. What is it about his game? I mean, I don't expect you to give away your game plan on him, but what do you got to be most mindful of?
Well, he's really added to his game. He's excellent off the dribble right now. He's getting the ball in the pocket a lot or at the free throw line. And that's where they hurt us last year in the second half, is getting the ball to the nail. Last year it was Smith or Jackson Davis, and they were just going to work on us. And, he's a heck of a player. I played with his dad. I played with his dad for 4 years in Indiana, and he's got some of that same temperament that his dad, Dale Davis, had. As far as getting to the rim, finishing with authority. He's incredibly athletic. He can really run. I thought a huge play going back and watching the Maryland game. He got out in the passing lane, got a steal, full court, end-to-end dunk. And that's really what, got the momentum shifted into Indiana's favor. He was absolutely phenomenal in that game against Wisconsin the other night. So again, just a really versatile big that can hurt you from all over the floor, and an incredible finisher and rebounder. We have to do a good job, hopefully, matching his physicality.
Thank you, Fred.
Michael Bruns?
Hey, Fred, you mentioned kind of that stretch at the end against Michigan State. What specifically did you see your team doing at that point that kind of led you to say that it was your best stretch of basketball? What did you like that you saw during that time?
I thought our pace was good. I love Trey's attack. Trey was in attack mode. Teddy obviously really had it going, and we did a good job finding him within the structure of our offense, as opposed to at times where we break things off, earlier in the year and we get a little stagnant. But we ran some screens to get him the ball, and let him go to work within the framework of the offense. And, defensively, we got ourselves back into it, with a couple of deflections. But I just thought our overall attack was exactly where it needed to be. You look at Michigan State, they held Rutgers, in the mid-40s the next game, held Purdue, I think, to 18 in the first half yesterday. We had probably our best offensive game, shooting almost 50% overall and 50% from the three. If we can get that going, score the basketball, get that defensive energy going when you do score it, it will help in a lot of ways. This league defensively is as good as I've ever seen. You look top to bottom. I mean, teams are absolutely going out there and locking down. So you got to grind out. You got to find a way to fight through that. Good hard cuts, reading the defense. We got a couple really good curls against Michigan State when they were chasing, and that really loosened things up. And reading the defense is a big part of the system. And then we gave Trey his side of the floor. He went in and finished with authority. So, I liked just the overall approach, the attack that we had, and we didn't shut down. When they went on their run, we responded, got back into it, and that's something we need to build on. And again, as I talked earlier, we have to find a way to eliminate those stretches that, create that hole that we have to dig and expend so much energy to get out of. When we play a 40-minute game, we're going to have a chance to win. I think every time we step on the floor.
Nicole Griffin?
Hey, Fred, I know it was kind of the narrative going into the Purdue game, having Derrick Walker back, and then that got pushed back to tomorrow. Just how excited or needed is he? Obviously, his debut was pushed back by having that tomorrow.
Yeah, he was obviously very disappointed, Nicole. He sat a long time to get ready for that first opportunity, and then to be told, well, we're going to have to push that back a week just based on, what happened to us earlier in the week. But he's ready. He's excited. His teammates are excited. The staff is excited to get him out there. But as I talked about earlier, to sit out for almost 2 years, to be the guy that I think people may expect to come in and be the one that gets us over the hump or be the savior, he's got a lot of work to do before he gets into true game shape. We've tried to run him extra and get him extra work out there on the floor, but until you actually experience that game action, there's going to be some ups and downs in the road back to being on the active roster. But, he gives us another weapon out there. He can finish in the paint. He's a guy that will demand some attention to hopefully suck in the defense and create some open shots. But he is our best finishing big right now, and he should be. He's the oldest, and he has the most experience.
And then just to follow up to that, I know you guys probably don't like having a week off, but is there a positive to having those extra days to watch film? Like, I know Trey McGowan's watches game film with you after every game, like just having those extra days just to watch more stuff.
Well, for 2 days, we actually couldn't spend any time at all together, as we got back into, the protocol getting ready to play again. So from that perspective, was that great? Probably not ideal. But, when I look at an opportunity for our guys, hopefully to freshen up and recharge and get their legs heading into this tough stretch. We've got 3 games in a short amount of time coming up after this one. And, you're going to have to go out there and be fresh. I mean, we went hard these last 2 days. We had to because of the time that we had off away from each other. I just noticed some rust when we had those days off, but we need to get it back quickly because we've got a really, really tough stretch coming up here.
Thank you.
Seeing no more questions in the queue, that will end our press for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Thank you, guys.